A scansion of the text shows us that again, the translator, Henry Howard, has translated with a rhyme scheme that runs A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, and then C, C. So we go brings, veil, sings, tail, springs, pale, flings, scale, slings, small, mings, and bale, and things and springs. Notice also that the rhythm and the meter, we have the soote season. So we have the soote, season, that bud, and bloom forth brings. So we've got 5 feet pentameter, and it is iambs, a series of iambs in the English translation. An explication of the text is where we explain or draw out the meaning of the text. And to explicate this text is a little difficult, because here Petrarch is changing the nature of the sonnet again, as he does in several of his works. He is, in this sonnet, building up, and only at the very end, giving us the difficulty, the problem. If we look at the structure of the poem, the first quatrain, he's saying this is the soote season, or the sweet season, if we will. It's the sweet season where buds and blooms and everything comes out. Spring, right? Spring is in the air. Well, naturally, if we're looking at romance, where most sonnets are about romance, what also is in the air at spring? It's the desire for romance. And so consequently, we have underlying this whole poem the idea of romance in the mind of the speaker. He describes that there are buds and blooms and that there's green everywhere, and the nightingale is singing on the bushes, and that the turtle dove herself is telling her tale to her mate. The birds are singing, there's beauty everywhere. And then he says in the second quatrain, summer is come. So he moves from the spring, the sweet season, to the summer itself. And every spray now springs forth, and we've got deer, we've got harts and bucks, we've got fishes that are in the water, we've got the adder even, the snakes, the swift swallow, even the busy bee. And he says, winter is worn that was the flower's bale. That is, winter is gone. There is no cold, there is no death. The whole world is filled with life. And you'd think that in the normal structure of the poem, you'd have that volta occur after the second quatrain. So anticipation would suggest that we'd have a volta right where he says, the swift swallow pursueth the flies small. But there's no volta. Nothing seems to alter, nothing seems to change. And I think this is Petrarch being very clever, very tricky. Where we expect a volta, there's none. It's just more life, everything enjoying itself, and everything's happy, and it's just great, and boy, is it grand. And then at the very end he says, and thus I see among these pleasant things, each care decays. All these things are without care. They're happy, they're living their lives, they're pleasant. And yet he has sorrow. And his sorrow springs up from all the life he sees around him. Again, notice it's a contrast between seeing the world out there full of life and his own heart, which doesn't have that same life in it. It's dead. It's sorrowful. It's miserable. Why? Primarily because if you go back a minute to the beginning of the poem, you've got the turtle dove with her mate. He doesn't have a mate. Where's his mate? The turtle dove and all these other birds and all these other creatures are with their mates, and they're producing life and they're producing families. He's not. And so his sorrow comes from being separated from them, the woman that he loves. The hart and the buck, they have each other. Fishes in the rivers, and even the adder herself, new life with the sloughing off of the old skin. But Petrarch, the speaker, is without his love, and so he's sorrowful. And again, it raises the idea of simple romance to the level of somebody who feels cut off from the world at large, somebody who longs for something and he doesn't know quite what it is. But seeing all that life and fructification around him makes him sorrowful, because he is without the appropriate person that he's supposed to be with. So he can't enjoy spring or summer, the sweet season, the way that everything else does.